In chapter 4, sorting materials into groups. This is a very short chapter. It talks about what are the objects around us, and there are several activities in this chapter. So we have talked about foods and we have talked about clothes, but there are many objects around us also, such as your pencil box, your tiffin box, the pencil that you use, the eraser that you use, the desk that you sit on, the diary, your computer, your phone cover, photo frame, jug, tumbler, cup, saucer. All these things are objects. So this chapter tells you how one object is different from another and how can you separate different objects based on their properties. So first activity is about collecting different objects, such as um, collect a cup. What is a cup made of? A cup is made out of ceramic, or it is made out of plastic, or it is made out of steel. Similarly, you can pick up a book. What is a book made out of? Book is made out of paper, right? Then you can pick I think a Rubik's cube. What is a Rubik's cube made out of? A Rubik's cube made out of plastic, right? It's also made out of metal, and it's also made out of wood, right? So that's how you can pick different objects. You have to create this table, and you have to write down objects and the material they're made from. Make sure that the object that you pick is around you, and you include that in your daily life. This will help you grasp the concept better, right? So there is this cool illustration. Bujo wants to know whether we found some materials that were used for making more than one type of object. Obviously, guys, such as notebook, right? Notebook is made of paper, right? And what else is made of paper? Envelope is made of paper. And what else is made of paper? Money is made of paper, right? So these are the objects, different objects made from the same material. So in activity 2, you have to pick out the objects like this only. You have to pick out different objects, all the objects that are made from the same material, such like a wooden photo frame, right? A wooden Rubik's cube, right? A wooden duster, right? A wooden door handle, right? A wooden door stopper, wooden cabinet, shelf, table. All these things are made of wood, and such as paper, notebook, envelope, money, newspaper, toys, calendars. So these are the different. So this is the table that you have to make in this activity. These are the material: wood, paper, leather, plastic, cotton. You already know about cotton. You learn about leather, so leave leather. Just wood, paper, plastic, cotton, wool. So all the materials that you already know about, write about those materials only, right? Now let's talk about the 4.2, the properties of material. Yeah, let's talk about 4.2, properties of material. So what are the properties of material? So there are different types of material, you already know, such as metal. A metal, what are the properties of material? It's hard. Also, it is very shiny, right? So these are the different properties of material. So how can you define different properties? You can define different properties by how the object appears, and how the material feels, and how it reacts in different situations. See, right? So these are the different properties. So you wouldn't put a paper in a boiling container, right? In a cooking vessel, it wouldn't be wise, right? Similarly, you wouldn't throw a glass tumbler, or you wouldn't eat plastic, or right, you wouldn't hit someone with a metal, right? You wouldn't use paper, like cloth, in place of plastic container, right? Because paper or cloth, they are going to leak, but the hard container, they don't leak. The plastic container don't leak. The wood container don't leak. The brass container, metal containers, they don't leak, right? So you can define different materials based on their appearance also, how they appear, what color they have, or whether they are shiny or not, right? How heavy they are. Okay, so let's move on to activity 3. So what they are saying is you have to collect small pieces of different material and find out whether they are shiny or not, and that's how you have to conduct this activity. So you have to find out, you have to pick different materials, the cut pieces of different materials such as wood chips or glass pieces, or be very careful with glass pieces and metals, and be very careful with all these also. And you also just use they are also saying that you have to use sandpaper to see whether there comes a luster or not. So in this activity you have to identify material based on whether they have luster or not. Iron, copper, aluminum, and gold are examples of some metal who will have some luster, right? Some metal lose their shine and appear dull because of their action of air and moisture on them. So we notice the luster only on their freshly cut surface. So when you visit an iron smith or a workshop, you will see a freshly cut surface of metal rods to see if they have luster, right? Hardness. So you'll see that aluminum, other metals, iron, and wood, all of these are very hard, and paper, cloth, all of these are really soft. Plastic, they're soft, right? Cotton or sponge, all of these are soft, right? So that's the appearance of the material, that if it's hard or if it's soft, that's the hardness or softness, right? In appearance, material can have different properties like luster, hardness, rough or smooth. So just think of your pencil or pen. You see how it has a smooth texture because it's made of plastic, right? You see a old piece of wooden bench. You see it doesn't have that much shine, it doesn't have that smooth texture, but it's very hard though, right? And you see the steel benches in the park, they don't have that much less luster. They are hard though, but they are not very smooth, right? So that's how you can identify different materials based on their properties, whether they are hard, soft, whether they have luster, or whether they are smooth or rough, right? Next comes the activity 4. Let's talk about the activity 4. The basic component of this activity is you have to mix different solid materials in water and observe how they behave in the water. So if you put some substances like sugar, salt, chalk powder, sand, sawdust, you right, they'll just mix with the water, they'll dissolve in the water, right? But if you take a metal piece, you'll take a pencil or wood, right, glass, so all of these things, they are not going to disappear, they are going to stay intact, right? You can check this out. Take two glasses, put salt, sugar, dust in it, and take other one, put your pencil, eraser, and all the hard materials that you will find. One thing will be soluble, and one glass, the sugar, salt, dust, they will be soluble, but other all of those things you can intact, they'll be intact, and you can take them out whenever you want, right? You will notice that some substances have completely disappeared or dissolved in water. That's what I said, soluble and insoluble. Next comes the activity 5. Activity 5 mostly talks about solubility of liquids in water, right? So there is vinegar, lemon juice, mustard oil, coconut oil, kerosene. There are many liquids available around. Use only those liquids which your mother allows or your teacher allows, there are any adult around you allows. And take a glass, take a tumbler, and put those little quantities of those liquid in the tumblers and add water in it, and then figure out whether those liquids are soluble or not. You will see that vinegar is soluble, lemon juice it's soluble, mustard oil, kerosene, they are not soluble because those are oil and they have higher viscosity than the water, Right, here is a for figure 4.5. You can see that some liquids, they float above water, but some liquids mix in the water. Right, so this is the kind of table that you have to make. This is a cool illustration. Bujo suggests that we also check if the liquids that we use in activity 5 mix well with some liquid other than water. Paheli is curious to know whether gases also dissolve in water. um, well, gases, it's not necessary. Gases are not going to dissolve in water. Water is made of two components, hydrogen and oxygen. Other gases, they will not dissolve in water, but some gases there are that can be dissolved in water, that are soluble there, but there are some gases which are not soluble, right? Water usually has small quantities of some gases dissolved in it. For example, oxygen gas is dissolved in the water, obviously. Just I told you that oxygen and hydrogen, there are the two main components of the water. Some objects may float or sink in the water, right? So you can also make a list of those objects who can float or who can sink in the water. You will figure out that some lighter things that will float on the top of the water, but some things will partially submerge and some things will completely submerge. Those who have very heavy weight and those things who do not absorb water, they'll sink down. Those things who absorb water a little bit, they'll partially float, and those who do not absorb water at all, they'll float completely, right? Next is transparency. Some of these objects, there are transparency of 3 levels. So you can see that a cardboard is not transparent at all. So it's called opaque, right? So there is a glass, um, which has tints in it, so it's not transparent. It can be called translucent, because you can partially see the things through the glass. And the third is a glass which is completely transparent. So the glass that you can see through, anything that you can see through it, if you can see through a thing, that thing is transparent, right? Let's move to the activity 6. It talks about translucent things and transparent things. I've already told you about. Let's move on and see the keywords. The keywords is hard. What is hard? Objects that are not easy to bend, those are hard objects. What is insoluble? Insoluble are those materials or liquids, solids who do not dissolve in water. Luster is a property of material to shine, right? A material is a keyword that you have to keep in mind, and you always have to remember that in this chapter, material keyword is really important. A material is anything that you can interact with. Okay. Metals are hard. Metals have shine. Metals also have luster. Metals are aluminum, iron, steel, copper. What is opaque? Opaque is something that you cannot see through. Rough soluble means it is roughly soluble, and it's not completely soluble. Translucent means you can partially see through it but not completely. Transparent means you can completely see through it. Name 5 objects which can be made from wood. Very easy. Pen, the hard cover of pen, the casing of pen can be made from wood. um, Pencil can be made of wood. Photo frames can be made of wood. Table can be made of wood. Chair can be made of wood. That is 5. I'll give you one bonus. Duster can be made of wood. Select those objects from the following which shine. Glass bowl doesn't shine. Plastic toy, no shine. Steel spoon, yes, shines. Cotton shirt doesn't shine. Glass bowl can also shine depending on which kind of glass it is. Match the object given below with the material from which they could be made. Remember, an object could be made from more than one material, and a given material could be used for making many objects. So these are this activity you have conducted already in this chapter. Book is made from paper, tumbler is made from glass, chair is made from wood, toy is made from plastic, shoes are made of leather. State whether the statement given below are true or false. Stone is transparent while glass is opaque. False. A notebook has luster. It's completely false because the stone is opaque and glass is transparent. A notebook has luster while eraser does not. False. A notebook does not have a luster while eraser also does not have a luster. Both of the things do not have luster. Chalk dissolves in water. True. Chalk dissolves in water. A piece of wood floats on water. It's true. Wood floats on water. You have already conducted the activity of solids that do not dissolve in water. Sugar does not dissolve in water. That is false because sugar does dissolve in water. Oil mixes in water. That is false. Oil floats above the water. Sand settles down in water. That is true. Sand does settle down in water. Vinegar dissolves in water. That is true. Vinegar dissolves in water. Also, lime water also dissolves in water. Given below are the names of some objects and materials: water, basketball, orange, sugar, globe, apple, and earthen pitcher. Group them as round shaped and other shapes, eatables and non-eatables. Okay, what are the round shaped and other shapes? Basketball is a round shape, orange is a round shape, water has no shape, it occupies the shape of whatever container it is in. Sugar is other shape. Globe is a sphere, it's not round. Apple is other shape. Earthen pitcher is other shape. Eatable and non-eatable: water is eatable, basketball non-eatable, orange eatable, sugar eatable, globe non-eatable, apple eatable, earthen pitcher not eatable. List all items known to you that float on water. Check and see if they will float on an oil or kerosene. So you have to conduct this activity on your own. Find the odd one out from the following: chair, bed, table, baby, cupboard. Baby because baby is a living being, and chair, bed, table, cupboard are not. Rose, jasmine, boat, marigold, lotus. Rose, jasmine, marigold, lotus. All these are flowers, but boat is not a flower. A boat is made of wood, and all these are made of flower and plants. Aluminium, iron, copper, silver, sand. Aluminium, iron, copper, silver, these are metals. Sand is not a metal. Sugar, salt, sand, copper sulfate, sugar, salt, sand, all of these things, and copper sulfate. So in the odd one out in this, it's your homework. You have to comment down below which of the things is odd one out and why. Thank you. This is a very small chapter and it ended up before 25 minutes. So good luck doing this revision, and make sure that you answer this seventh part D of the seventh question in the comments. Thank you.